Hello, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we have our great friend, Will Green. How you doing, Will?
I'm good, Jerry. How are you?
I am doing great. So, for anybody who's visually impaired, we want to just give you a quick feel for who you're looking at and what you're looking at behind us. So, I'm Jerry. I've got brown hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing a headset. I've got my No Rules shirt on that Dustin Grimes out of the Fledge designed and printed for me. And I'm sitting in my studio office at the Fledge in front of some of my art in my sculpture collection. How you doing, Will?
I'm good. I am a large bearded man, slightly balding, and I'm wearing glasses. I have a bit of a skunk stripe gray forming in my beard, which I'm pretty excited about. And I am in my basement office in front of the green screen that I have up for when I Zoom my students.
Have you ever been had a cat filter on and you couldn't get it off in front of your
I have
students?
not had that problem yet. No.
Nah. I saw
Zoom
Nick was
doesn't have the
pretty.
best filters yet. They're still working on that.
I was messing with them after that because I wanted to turn people into cats too. But so you got a lot of projects that you work on. You do a lot, I think, at least in my opinion. Would you tell us about you and some of your projects?
Yeah, so I was born. I'm from Ovid Elsie. I went to Ovid Elsie High School up there between St. John's and Owasso. I grew up on a dairy farm up there. I live in Grand Ledge now with my wife, and yeah, just I don't feel like sometimes I don't feel like I feel like I've signed up for a lot accidentally here. So I'm a teacher at Tech Academy. All views, any views of them, I guess. I'm not here officially, but and then I am half of the ownership of Bangos food truck. I own with my friend Aaron, and then I also when to do. So that's kind of what I do.
So Bangos, you want to talk about that first? Is that all right?
Sure. Yeah. So that based here in Lansing. We just did. We were open a year in July now. Opened that with my friend Aaron Hebert. We do our breakfast sandwiches. It's kind of the main thing that we're doing out of there. We also started doing fried chicken sandwiches and burgers and vegan conies at night every now and then too. But that's kind of one of the main things right now. We set up shop at the Brew Cafe side on Sundays and 800 East Michigan Ave, corner at dinner too is on Michigan.
I've got a question out to the crowd if they can hear us okay. Because I'm having a lot of skipping on your side. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. So Bangos, was the pandemic good or bad for business? I don't mean good and bad.
Right, sure, yeah. It was bad, yes, and it's bad. But for business, it was honestly, we were fine. We were open during the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday downtown for like state workers and all those people, which that went away, obviously. But then just on the weekends, it honestly leveled out, and those people found us on the weekends, and we really didn't take a hit. It just kind of that same amount of business shifted to 2 days, which was, harder, but, ultimately fine. I think especially when things were at their craziest and like we shut down in March because we were like, we don't want to go to the grocery store right now, and things were still like, no one knew quite what was going on in March. Not that we know now either, but, so we shut down in March, and then after that, it was pretty fine. And I think people saw us, we're a safe option. We're out, you don't have to go inside anywhere. There's at most 3 people working there. You really fun, so I think people see it as a safe option. And I think being breakfast too, because like breakfast, you go somewhere and you get bacon and eggs, and then you sit and talk for a big part of getting and talking with people, and that kind of went away. And so it kind of leveled, it made it if you can't go sit somewhere, you're not going to go get takeout bacon and eggs, because you can make takeout bacon and eggs. We were something a little bit different that kind of made it, that kind of helped us, keep business up. So
yeah, I think that's a good point I hadn't thought of before, that, in a breakfast, most of the time when you go out to get breakfast, it's something that you already are going to have, or you can have at home. It's French toast, pancakes, bacon and eggs, right, whatever. Yeah, but you guys are so unique. That you think that kept you strong was
yeah, I think so. Cause like I said, it just, there isn't a, and it sucks for those little, diners and stuff, but so much of getting breakfast is social. That's why you're going out. You're going out because you drank last night before. You want to go, get some coffee and talk with whoever you're hanging out with, or you're meeting friends. And when that went away, there just isn't the reason to go to those places as much anymore. Unfortunately, for them. But yeah, we were different enough. I think for doing breakfast sandwiches and comparing, our breakfast sandwich, it's different. It's very different, and I think that it made it a little bit more special. It's still a special breakfast, even if you're not going out with your friends before.
Is there anything special that Bangos is doing now, or coming up? Like, do you have any big event that you're going to be at, or
no big event? We're about the Winterfest coming up downtown. We're doing not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. We'll be parked down by Rotary Park. We haven't got the full details on that yet, but we did sign up for that. And then we're working on that actually at 800 East Michigan. We just took that lease over not too long ago, so we're working on. It'll be totally different from Bangos, but we're working on an actual physical location here. Hopefully, in the next month or two, we'll have that open.
Is that the coffee shop? I'm not trying to out them right now, that you were next to. That same location?
Yep, that same spot. Yep, right on the corner there.
So I'm just going to put a comment out there. And that's where you're at today?
No, tomorrow we'll be there. We're just there on Saturdays right now.
Oh, okay.
9 to 2 and 4 to 8.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the thing too. And 4 to 8. Perfect. I'm excited to learn more sometime about the physical space in there.
Yeah. Aaron has been cooking his whole life, my partner. I don't know anything about kitchens at all. We're comedy friends, actually. And we were looking for we were always kind of just like looking for places that could be a place to open a comedy venue of some kind. And an issue that we always found was like, oh, this place is cool, but there's no kitchens. Like, you wouldn't be able to make any money on it, because that's how those places make money, is selling food and drinks. And so then we're like, well, what if we just got the kitchen first? And then if we ever find a place, we can park it. And then it went, and then next thing you know, we had a food truck. So
yeah. I would have loved to have done a comedy Bangos mashup at some point, but it seems that they took that away from us, huh?
Comedy,
like you get
for sure.
Like, yeah. Do you have you been doing comedy?
I did like 2 outdoor shows over the summer, like a couple open mics, and then one outdoor show up in Pentwater. But beyond that, I've got one show booked in March up in Alpena that I think I'm going to do. But although I think I heard they just passed we're not going to enforce mask rules up there, so that makes me a little nervous. But so we're getting a little too late to cancel on that one, so I might still do it. But yeah, other than that, I have not done stand. I've only done it like 2 times in the last year, which is crazy.
Does stand-up work virtually?
No. I mean, people are doing. I'm not gonna tell people not to do them, because it's just, to me, it's like, it's just not the same. I mean, it might work as something else, but it's just not the same. Like, you need people packed in close together in a little tiny room with low ceilings. It's just the exact opposite of what we should be doing right now. I think you can translate humor, I think, via Zoom shows and stuff, but it's not the same at all.
Right. I definitely, you guys did several shows here, and I learned a lot about comedy just kind of watching the dynamic of that show. And not that I'm funny or anything, I'm just talking about the business of comedy. And the if someone showed up, I'll just say Dan or whatever, and he tells the same joke, one crowd it might really take off, and the other crowd it might just kind of fall flat. And if the crowd didn't have energy, jokes would fall flat quite a bit, but they're the same exact joke and delivered the same exact way. It seems like the crowd plays a huge part in comedy in general. I guess that might. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think I want to say Brian. I heard Brian Regan say this, who's a stand-up comedian, that the instrument that the comedian is playing is the crowd. You're manipulating the audience, and if there's no energy, or if they're small, or if they're socially distanced and spread out, all that stuff, plays a part and makes it harder or easier to get. It kind of turns into this one. Like a really good show, like the crowd turns into this one unit that you're, getting to kind of go up and down and laugh at this and not laugh at that. And, it's when the setting matters a lot, I guess, and the vibe of the room matters quite a bit. Jokes matter, but you've got to have a good setup too. That can really hurt you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hecklers, you love them or you hate them?
I hate them. Because like people will say like, oh, either I'm helping or I'm making you better by, it's like, it's just, challenging you on some respect. It's like making you better. But to me, it's like if someone's painting and you were like bumping their elbow, like you wouldn't say, oh, I'm making you a better painter because you have to deal with me bumping your elbow. Like, no, you're bothering me while I'm trying to do this thing that I'm working really hard on, and spend a lot of time on it. So yeah, no, don't love them. That's for sure.
Have you ever seen a comic like get off the stage and get physical with a heckler?
Like I right before I moved out to Maine, I was in Maine for a while. I just missed it, but so actually it was the reverse. Somebody on stage before I got out there, a friend of mine. I don't think I've never seen it get too crazy. Beyond that, I haven't really.
Yeah, I think here we had to escort someone out once. That was heckling too much. Yeah,
I think I might have missed that one. I think I remember hearing the story. I think I missed that show though.
That was pretty funny. So I know I'm kind of segmenting or dividing this up a little bit, but online educator. What do you want to tell us about that? How's that been? Were you an online educator before?
Yeah, I'm in my third year at the school, so it was well before 2018. I think I started there. I kind of, it's not for everybody, but I definitely right now I'm pretty happy with it. I had worked for all my teaching jobs before were in I did behavioral day treatment, like mental, just piles of mental illness, kids with violent behaviors and stuff. So I'd done right now online with kids where if it's just a different beast, my stress levels are definitely way down. I used to leave work sometimes with just like a headache on something, it was just like my whole spine was just like tightened up from a long day of stressful work, which I missed, but I'm right now. It was a good time to be an online teacher, that's for sure.
Yeah. Did you do you think that the 2 years before and then this year, I don't know exactly how it worked out, but did you see any difference at all when the pandemic, or was it basically business as normal?
For us, it was pretty close. Our school does, we have a site in Lansing, Grand Rapids, Adrian. I think they're trying more like physical locations where kids could come in if they want to. It's not mandatory at all. But if they want to come in and get some one-on-one help, there's a couple days a week when they can do that. So those we stopped doing, obviously. And then I used to go into our office here in Lansing every day. Beyond that, our kids didn't have disruption whatsoever, really. Their classes just went rolling along. I mean, we didn't have snow days, before that either. So I mean, just they can just keep right on rolling, which is one of the benefits of online school for sure.
So do you know why Lansing School District had a snow day if they're all virtual right now? Why they just did that on Tuesday, I think.
Oh, did they really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. And I know some schools, like I have some friends who teach, and their schools are making them go into work. Like the kids aren't there, but they have to go teach from their classroom. So I don't know, maybe that. I don't know if Lansing's doing that or not, but that'd be the only thing I can think. That seems kind of silly. Yeah, we don't really have them.
I thought it was pretty nice for the kids. You wake up, you got a snow day for virtual school.
They deserve a break every now and then. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. So I noticed that you called Aaron your comedy friend. Do you segment all of us into that's my teacher friend, my comedy friend, my food friend?
No, it's just that we meet via food. We met. He's from Maine originally, so we did comedy out there for like that, and then his girlfriend got it, and then just we were looking for a project, and he's.
So I love Bangos. I think you've got that. Is it like a vegan black bean?
We stopped doing that. I know that was the one you had a bunch of times. We stopped doing that. It was just we didn't have a lot of space on there, and it had using that sandwich, so we kind of stopped doing it. People that is, but people ask for it every now and then, so you're not the only one.
Yeah, that was a good sandwich.
People like that one, yeah.
How do these three things fit together? The teaching, the comedy, and you kind of gave us a glimpse of the comedy and the food. Is teaching an outlier, or is it all?
No, I mean that's a. Is doing paperworky stuff during the week sometimes if need be, and especially right now we're just on weekends, so that's nice, so I can put it in there, and then comedy is usually at night on the weekend, so they kind of each had their own. I kind of had the whole thing filled up, but each in its own little spot there.
Does it? Do they relate to each other though? Does teaching help you with comedy, or comedy help you with teaching?
Less so now in this role, but I think so. I mean, teaching is like standing in front of a group of kids who really don't want to listen to you, and then sometimes that's the crowd you're in front of too. So, yes, getting attention, drawn to a share, people not always listening, being on the show. There's definitely some crossover skills there for sure.
Yeah. What would you say, like, do you have a combined mission for the three things, or for yourself? Like, do they fit in trying to change society or invent something or become a billionaire?
None of that. I mean, I wouldn't turn down, I guess I probably would. If I was a billionaire, I'd probably trim that down pretty quick because I wouldn't need all that. But I think honestly, the only thing I think about is I want to have a good funeral. That's really all I think about. Is like, I won't be there, but I hope a bunch of people are like, oh shit, Will died, and then they want to go. Like That's kind of what I'm hoping for. That's, whatever thing I'm doing during my life, at the end of it, I hope a bunch of people are like, I really like that guy.
Is that what it would be? Is that would represent how much we all love you?
I just want people to, when they cross paths with me, they have a good experience. And I always, I had a friend tell me once that he judges friends by how he feels about himself when he's around them, and I thought that was pretty good. So I hopefully when I'm around other people, they feel good about themselves, and and that's just the barometer would be, how many people are like, or want to come say goodbye to me when it's time. Not that matters. If that just is a representation of maybe
Oh,
it's
no.
all right during. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's not like Facebook likes, right? Where
No, it's
just,
not. That's not like
can,
guys like. It's just that is a symbol of, hey, maybe things went all right.
maybe if you raise enough money and bank that away, we could pay people to. I'm saying we could. I'm going to be dead before you. Sorry, but
You never know. I think you're in better shape than I am.
I don't know. I smoke a lot still. I need to stop doing that.
True.
Yeah. So what's something you do every damn day to just keep this all going and moving forward?
I think comedy is a good example of this. Like the thing I always liked about comedy is that when things happen, good or bad, whatever they are, the brain, comedians just automatically are like, okay, what is, like, it's just, you separate yourself a little bit and you're just thinking about things kind of stepped back a little bit. You're out of the emotion of it a little bit. You're out of the moment a little bit, and just trying to wrap your head around what is interesting or weird or different about this. And I think I just try and keep that perspective with a lot of things. And just always kind of looking for the next, if it's the next joke, you're always kind of looking for that. And if it's the next idea, you're kind of looking for that. This actually relates to the my project I'm starting with our good friend Nick Lydorf, actually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk to people, and I won't put you. I just thought I won't put you on the spot. You don't have to answer this, but I am going to ask you if you want to do it sometime. You don't have to. Don't answer me now. But I was thinking, because my dad his brother passed away when he was very young. When my dad was 15, I think his brother was like 17. His brother died, and I don't know much about him. A little bit here and there, but we don't talk about him very much. And I was thinking it would be interesting to sit down with my dad and record that and kind of delve into that and talk about what he was like and what was great about him and what he misses about him and all that. And then I thought, well, maybe that's something I should do with other people. So actually, I did that last night with Nick. We talked about his dad who passed away 17 years ago. And so, yeah, that was just an idea that clicked, and I just was like, I need to make that happen because I got my brain's telling me that's the energy, and that you need to put some energy into that. So, yeah, just always thinking about the next thing and following that energy. I guess that's my every damn day thing.
My answer is yes.
Okay.
That's my thing.
I figured you would, but I didn't want to put.
So
good. It was so much fun. I mean, it's horrible, but it was really, Nick and I had a really good chat last night. So I'm excited about it right now. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a very good idea. I would love to participate.
All right. I'm looking in.
So you got me thinking when you were talking about what you do every day. You got me thinking about comedy, and can you learn comedy? Can you learn to be a comic, or do you have to have something special first, and then there's things that you have to do? Or is it?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think you kind of got to have something, and then I think you can go from there. Some people take classes to start, like the very first thing they do, take a class. And then, you'll see sometimes, there's in Portland, Maine, where I live, and they would open every year. So every year they were like this show. All of a sudden, people show up who just got done taking this class. And because it's a totally different, you're not in that class anymore. You're in a real setting, and now it's going to be hard, and whatever you thought worked might not work. And so ultimately, the people who kind of had some funny in them were the ones who stuck with it and did well, and the ones who didn't would kind of fade away after a while. So you kind of got to have something. If after you've done it for a while, you're like, I want to get better, then I think it will help you like structure your about word choice and editing and that kind of thing. But you need something funny to start with. I think.
Do you look for, like, do you ever just say, oh, that's ironic, that's going to be funny, or that's going to scare the shit out of somebody? I think I'll say this out loud. I don't know. I'm trying to put my finger on. Yeah.
I think you get to a point where like comics talk about like their voice a lot, which is like a quote unquote, like just who they are, and what their perspective is. And I think you get to a point where you're like, yeah, like you can hear it. Like, yeah, that'll be funny. You you're going to have to work with it. There's going to be a lot of things that go into it and editing it and changing it and trying this and trying that. But the premise itself, yeah, you get to the point where you're like, that's good. That's gonna be a good one.
Do you tweak a lot of jokes like when you're reading the room? Like if the room is, I don't know.
I would say I do that less than most, I would think. I think okay. I got my stuff. I like, because I personal comedy hero, Mike Birbiglia, and has a lot of like something like the hour is kind of one story. And I try and tie stuff together really well like that. That's kind of just my personal thing. I like it. I like stories and things that feel like I like it to feel like it's naturally going from one thing to the next. So I don't veer off course too much unless it's sometimes you like have to bail if something's not working. But yeah, I try not to do that too much.
When you said the voice of the comic, is that like the brand of Bangos? Is it like
in some regard? Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I had this. It was just dumb. It was about like wearing, and was something about wearing a fanny pack during sex, which it was, but it was too absurd for me. Like it was like I was telling all these jokes that felt like they were based in reality, and then this one was this doesn't fit. This clearly didn't happen. All those other things felt like they happened, and all of a sudden I had this joke that it was funny, but it didn't fit. So yeah, I think you kind of have to figure out kind of who you are a little bit and try to keep within that and be honest about, with Bangos stuff. I mean, if you read our posts, I mean, we avoid all like the corporate-y speak because that's just not us at all, so we try and just be ourselves. And I think that's kind of what you're looking for with a comedian's voice, is like a version of yourself to put out.
So more authentic than the forced marketing and stock photos that nobody knows who these people are. I'd much rather see a photo of you and Aaron or you and Nick to tell me the story than, Model 1 and Model 2. Right.
Aaron and I joke sometimes, like he'll like Aaron's guide to Instagram success, and it's like, step 1, post a good picture of the sandwich. Step 2, to say what's on it. It's like that's about all we do. So, done well.
Yeah. So we daisy chain our shows together, and yesterday I had a young artist named Des, and he's got a question for you, and his question is, how do you kind of integrate art into your daily life?
Well, I think for me, it goes back to just kind of the other thing I just said with comedy, is just that like I'm always like with comedy, you're just always, everything could pop part of your art. Like literally everything you're experiencing could potentially be a joke or a part of a joke, or an idea for a joke. And so I think having that filter, I think, is kind of how I every day I'm experiencing. I mean, always, you can't experience anything and not think, oh, that could be something, and then write it down. So you're always kind of running it through that filter. So yeah, comedians are always kind of engaged in their art, whether they like it or not.
Do you think most people think about comedy as art?
I mean, it's tricky because like sometimes you watch comedy and you're like, You know, like you go to, it depends on the show that you go to, but there are times when that is definitely not art, and this is not fun for anybody. But I think you have to treat it like that. You know, I think you have to treat it like you value it, and I think that makes you better, and it makes shows better if people involved are treating it like an art. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But it's not always.
well, one of the reasons I'm asking is because we're really on a big campaign to get people to recognize that they are surrounded by art all of the time. And I don't know that outside of a conversation like this, I might not, if someone said, name your 10 favorite artists, I'm not sure a comedian would have been in there. But now that I say that out loud, I could think of some comedians that would be in there.
Definitely, at its highest level, it's definitely an art, I think. And then at the lower levels, it's up to you if you think that's art or not. Yeah.
Well, there's different, you go way back. There's always like in a comedy, like if a play that Shakespeare wrote that was a comedy doesn't seem funny, it was more tragedy with a happy ending or something. I'm not sure. Do you want to make a happy ending joke before? Or no, you're not that low brow, right?
You just did.
So, thank you. Yeah. So I think that, I don't know. I like comedy. I like what you guys did. I used to love all your shows when we were here, and I can't wait till we can do that again. Tomorrow on the show, we've got Ford Fairlane. He chose his own name when he got out of prison. So I'm going to go with Ford Fairlane. And he's an ex-offender. He's recently released out of prison, and he's trying to set a Guinness Book of World Records for the most pen pals that are in prison. He wants to send them all a love letter, is what he's basically saying. What question would you like me to pass down to him?
As if someone, what's the best way, if someone who is leaving that system joins my, what's the best support them, feel welcomed? I would want to know.
Have you ever been in that situation that you know of? Like somebody who's just come out?
Yeah, I did. I did the Big Brothers Big Sisters thing back in the day, and started with that kid when he was 9, and we're still in touch today. But he had a stint. He did a little stint. It was still on the juvenile side, which was good for him. But when he got out, I think he was in for like a year, maybe 2. But when he got out, we tried to. He came out with like no ID, and his mom didn't know where his social security card was, and he just had like nothing, and he couldn't. It was so he had this moment where like he really wanted to be out and get started doing better, but then he didn't the tools to do that. He couldn't. But he hooked him up with a friend and got his like IDs in place and that and stuff like that. But that's hard. I just can't imagine, so.
Yeah, that's been in the back 40, the people that are unhoused there, one of their biggest obstacles is they don't have the ID. So if you're coming out of prison and something happens and you get homeless and you don't have ID, man, that's a long hole or a deep hole to dig yourself out of.
It baffles my mind too, because like it's like one day they have a number that is assigned to them, and they know exactly where they are, and and this government knows exactly where they live and where they are every second. And then the next day, the government's like, I don't know who you are. Yeah, you got to prove who you are. It's like, can't you give them something? Like, isn't there something we can just give those people and that'll work and that'll get them, like, print them an ID when they leave? Isn't that? I don't know who we get that to do that, but that just seems like it just made no sense to me.
That I actually have some people that could work on that. So if you don't mind us taking that idea, I love that idea.
Blew my mind. Like, just knew who you were yesterday.
Right. They should leave with a social security card and a state ID.
I just say that. Good chunk. There you go. Something, anything. Give them something that counts. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we start to wrap up here, is there anything we forgot? Anything you want to promote? Anything across I guess we all have to go to Alpine to see you. Is that where you Alpina?
Pina. Yeah. You don't have to come. That's fine.
No, if we wanted to, I mean.
So Bangos and Facebook. It's just Bangos 3 times. Follow what we're doing. And the podcast is going to be called "We Lost a Good One." That's nowhere yet. I just recorded the first one, but I'm pretty excited about that. Look for, I don't know, you can't look for it up somewhere yet.
Wait for it and look for it at the appropriate time.
There you go. Yeah. Eventually, when you're around, they'll know about it. So.
Yeah. So anything you want to take us out with? Any advice? Any comments? Anything? A joke?
Froze there for a second. Say that one more time.
I said, is there anything you want to take us out with? Like a comment, a joke, advice, deuces?
Deuces is good. I don't know. I mean, times are weird. Just keep doing what you can do, and I mean, I love what you're doing. I think adding connections to your life in any way you can right now is valuable. So do a lot of that, I guess I'd say.
And I want to give a shout out again for Bangos all day tomorrow, 9 to 2 or 4 to 8, I guess, at 800 East Michigan.
Yep.
Go down there and get something to eat. I don't know that they have anything on the menu that I like anymore, but no, I don't remember.
We got all sorts of vegan. You can get all the breakfast sandwiches except for one can be vegan. We can do a vegan cauliflower wrap.
I love that sandwich so much that I would look at the menu and then just say, I just want that sandwich again. So I'll tell you what, it's really close to the Fledge. I'll be down there tomorrow. Yep. I'll come get a sandwich and I'll pick a new favorite because I know there's going to be one on there.
All right. Sounds good, Jerry.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. And it was great to get to know you a little bit more. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow on another episode of Every Damn Day. I will see you later. Stick around with me for a second, Will.
All right.
All right. See y'all. Bye-bye.